everyone. Welcome to the third episode of The Uncomfortable Conversation. Joining us today is a very important guest. She's a highly esteemed attorney and she is an extremely well-known author. And she just finished her extremely famous and renowned book called The Bishnoi and the Black Buck. We are very, very honored, and it's our privilege to have Miss Anu Lal on our show today. So let's dive right in. Welcome to the show. Anu, thank you so much for joining us. Again, it's a privilege, and thank you for giving us so much of your precious time. We truly appreciate it. So, Anu, first of all, I am so happy to have you on The Uncomfortable Conversation. I want to tell you that the concept of this talk show is that you have full equal opportunity, full rights to ask me any questions that you want to ask me
Mhm.
as I will ask you, but you can ask me anything you want. That's the kind of show I wanted to create, that both the host and the guest should have equal rights to ask each other questions, and that's how we get to know each other, and that's how we get to make friends also.
Right, right.
So, before we delve into the serious subject of everything that you're phenomenal. I mean, you're unbelievable. You're a lawyer, you're highly intellectual, you've written an amazing book, you're a well-esteemed author. I'm so privileged to have you on the show. I'm
Thank you so much.
reiterating this. I've already said this in your introduction, but I want to ask about Anu. Tell me, and our viewers would love to know. Let's get to know a little about Anu. Where are you from originally? And why did you become a lawyer? What were your parents like? What was your childhood like? Let's talk a little personal.
Okay. That's the tough part. It's easier to talk about the book than to talk about the personal stuff, right?
This is
So,
fun. Growing
sure.
up, what did you like to do? Play hopscotch or I don't know, goatee, whatever.
Fair enough. So, both my parents were in government jobs and often transferred all over the country. So, I've grown up pretty much in all parts of India.
Okay.
Been to so many different schools. I think about 12 different schools. Yeah. So, growing up, I went to about 12 different schools, and I did my final college in Delhi, and I've done my MBA. And after that, I did law from evening college, incidentally, because I wanted to be a lawyer so bad. And I think once the legal stuff happened, I realized that, this is what I always wanted to do. And why did I not do it sooner in my career? So I
Right.
worked for about 25 years across India and China, US, Singapore, and now I've come back to India. I came back to India during COVID, and yeah, so this is what it is. In my younger days, I used to play a few sports here and there, but I don't think I was very good at them. Well, apart from that, I read a lot, and yeah, pretty much that much. Yeah.
Well, we have that in common, except I like Audible because I'm always on the road with my charity. I'm always on driving all the time with my NGO, so I like Audible.
Right.
But that's something we have in common. I love books. And all right, so that's your personal story. Now, when did you finish law school? When did you graduate?
Oh no, no, many years ago. I don't think I want to say that. So I've had a career. I've had a work life spanning almost 25 years now, and I did law. I think about 15 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. And your specialty, what is your field in
So
law?
I'm not a litigation lawyer.
Okay.
I've been on the corporate side. So litigation lawyers are those who go into courts and they
Yes,
and they
I
practice.
right.
Yeah. So I'm not a litigation lawyer. I'm a corporate lawyer.
You're a corporate attorney.
And
Okay.
yeah, and my career was about I started my career in pharmaceutical marketing, which needs a lot of legal stuff when it comes to claims, when it comes to patents
Of
and stuff.
course.
So my work has been that. My work has been more on the corporate side of law and marketing.
And corporate law consists more of like businesses and contracts, and if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Okay.
true. That's
All
true.
right. Now let's dive into. how did you get involved with the Bishnoi tribe? How did you get involved with
Right.
the Bishnois? Because you're, if I'm not mistaken, you were born in Haryana, correct?
That's
Okay.
true.
Okay.
So, actually, incidentally, Haryana has a huge Bishnoi population. One of our longest standing CMs has been a Bishnoi,
Okay.
Shri Bhajan Lal Bishnoi.
Okay.
He holds the record of the longest standing CM in Haryana. Haryana has huge Bishnoi populations.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so, and my dad was a police officer. So, from his younger days, he used to say that, whenever poaching happens in any place, in any Bishnoi village, the villagers come along with the poacher, literally catching him by the collar and saying, "Ib karo insaf ji, abhi karo." Matlab, they seek instant justice in that sense, because of the fact that the community values wildlife and environment so much. So I was aware of a lot of the Bishnoi values before. And curiously, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and now, the Bishnoi community is known just by two names. One and both not giving very positive um, PR for the community in that sense. One is a poaching case which is already in litigation, and the second is Lawrence, of course. So I was chatting with this friend of mine, telling them that how the community has a long-standing tradition of a long standing tradition of environment work, and they did not believe me. And that's when, on that table, while we were having this conversation, this idea came up that why don't you write about it? And I said, okay, let's see. So I made a short little video about the community and its ethos and its commitment to the environment. And it really took off. And I found a publisher who said, okay, why don't you write about this aspect? The most of the world is talking about the poaching case while the matter is still sub judice. Why are you not, let's focus on what the community does. And that's where I started writing the book. And the apple doesn't, like they say, you can't go too far away from your roots. So I started researching at the Jodhpur High Court itself, because that's where most of the public attention had gone on the poaching case. And so I started working there, and from there, windows and doors opened into this fantastic community that I learned so much about. But it started from the legal case, yes.
So I must confess, pivoting a little bit, but Rajasthan is my favorite place in the whole world. I absolutely love Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, Jaipur. That's my favorite place in the whole world.
It
Um,
is very beautiful.
it's beautiful, and I love the jewelry, the street jewelry. That's the jewelry that I'm in love with, and I got to spend 20 days in Jodhpur actually. Um,
Mhm.
but let's digress back to so your book is called Bishnoi and the Black Buck. I don't want I want our viewers to actually buy the book and read the book. Can you give us a little gist of what the book is consisting of? What's it about? A little bit, aside from the obvious, of course.
Yeah, so see, the most obvious thing that people know about the community is the infamous Salman Khan black buck poaching case, which the matter is sub judice. So I have reproduced what the High Court judgment has said, and what the facts are there in the public domain, but not
Okay.
really given my own judgment on it, because one, I can't, I should not, and second, the matter is still sub judice. So the facts of the case, the investigation process, etc., I've listed that out. But
Right.
what stands out more for me personally is that, why is a community in a country that doesn't even value human lives, why is a community so bothered about a deer? Like, what makes it so special? So people who are interested in this book would basically read about a community that's about 500 years old, which has given solutions for the environment, which is I mean, being in Rajasthan, you've seen Rajasthan, it's a very tough life there. There's no water, there's not much greenery, but there's a code of conduct that has helped them manage all this for over so many years. So, in my view, this is more of an environmental kind of learning that we can take from the community. and the lessons that the world can learn about sacred ecology and devotion and what it can do to the environment.
Okay.
So that's the bigger learning that that I think as a society we should focus on.
So as a lawyer, what is your opinion in terms of justice that should be attained for what took place in 1998 when I was in Mumbai at that point in time?
Mhm.
I wasn't in Rajasthan, but I was there when it took place.
Right. So, since you were in India at that time, you would recall how much the media frenzy captured the case, right?
Yes.
And yeah. So, if you look at it closely, it was not just one FIR, there were three FIRs which were filed, there were three separate cases, five animals allegedly killed. But really, if you read the High Court judgments, there was not really any legal burden of proof which was established beyond any reasonable doubt. That's what the High Court says. The prosecution did not prosecute the witnesses. They did not challenge their statements. They were not cross-examined. So they were not really able to establish guilt beyond
Why do
reasonable
you
doubt.
think that happened? Why do you think all of that took place?
See,
Power, fame, money, all of that?
it is not for me to put that judgment simply because the matter is still sub judice. So, as a layperson, also, I would not be doing it, and as a lawyer, also, I will stay away from that. But then the High Court has come out very scathing on the investigation teams and said that why did you not investigate this matter properly? And there are
Right.
many big lacunas in the investigation, from where it happened, the exact poaching incident where allegedly it happened. There are no eyewitnesses for that who are there. The Bishnoi village members who serve as witnesses even today were not really the eyewitnesses of the case. The eyewitnesses in the case are not there anymore. Then, even when the eyewitness was brought to court, the driver of the car, he was not cross-examined. Then the court has also said that what happened to the actual gypsy in which the alleged crime took place. It was not investigated for the blood marks. Where did they carry the deer? How was it taken? The deer was not established to be the same one that was hunted. The tire marks of the gypsy were not sent for forensic investigation almost till 3 weeks later. So in the sands of Rajasthan, the tire marks could not be recovered to
They
be
were
of the same.
dissipated. Yeah.
They were, yeah. So this is actually a learning for the investigation teams on how fast you need to investigate if you need to close cases. And the matter has been sub judice for 28 years. 28 years is a long, long time, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, so we need a bit of speedy justice, and establishment of guilt needs to happen beyond reasonable doubt if we want anything to come out of it.
So
But that said,
that's a good segue to my next question. What reforms would you make in the legal system universally?
it's not about the legal system. The system works. Of course, legal system in India needs to be faster. There is no doubt about that. Even the courts accept it. But here, in this particular case, and in many other cases, what happens is that when the investigation happens, do
Right.
we pick up the evidence at that time or not? If there is a destruction of evidence, then a court case will work on that evidence only. And
Right.
that's not really fair to a court process that the investigation has not been done. Court themselves has said that this is a shoddy investigation. Now, if the investigation is shoddy, you can spend years and years on the same facts and you'll come to no conclusion at all.
Right.
So I think trainings in better investigation are probably required. But that said, again, I go back to
Present at the scene right away. All of that has to happen right away. You cannot let weeks pass by. The police has to be on top of these things. And also, I mean, in a perfect world, what would be a punishment for someone who would kill a black buck?
the punishment is very clearly defined by law, but at the end of the day, if
Can you tell our
so many
viewers what
years,
that is? I know what it is, but can you tell our viewers what it
see,
is?
but at the end of the day, what is punishment? At the end of the day, if 28 years pass in judging
Right,
a case,
right,
that is a very, very long time. That is
right.
that is a very, very long time, right? So in one of the cases, of course, there's been an acquittal of the whole team that has happened, but that also happened, I think, after 15 years of the matter being sub judice.
Right.
Which brings me to the point that if justice has to be delivered, it has to be delivered faster,
Right.
whatever we did, whatever
Right.
be the case, right? But then that again takes me back to the community, that some members of the community have stood as witnesses and appeared in court for 65 times, right?
Wow.
65 times they've gone to court. And the question here arises that why does a community do that? Why do they need to do that? And where do they get this conviction? And does it happen only because a superstar is involved? They're seeking publicity, or do they do it all the time? So those are the questions which I took from the case. You know,
What are your
those are the
answers? What were your
so the,
answers?
this is not the first case that has happened. There are hundreds and thousands of cases which are under litigation, where FIRs have been filed, similarly languishing in courts. There's a reason why in India, black buck is still not extinct, because these communities guard them with their lives. People have given up their lives stopping these poachers. So in my book, I have a list of about 25 people all that I could document from, shilp lakes. Shilp lakes are like, as you're traveling down a road, you'll find a little stone edict on which a name is carved out: Gangaram Bishnoi, Shaheed,
Right.
Chinkara ko bachate hue
Like
shaheed
a
hue.
tombstone.
Yeah. So वो चिंकारा को बचाते हुए शहीद हुए, which means that he gave up his life saving a
Martyr.
chinkara,
Like
a
he's a
martyr,
martyr.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Incidentally, I call the chapter also the Martyrs Code. So there is a whole list of martyrs in this community, and not starting from present day. They go pre-independence era, and
Wow.
nobody has bothered to document them. This is what the men are doing, right? And what the women are doing when animals, not just black bucks, but when animals die in poaching or otherwise, they take them under their fold and they actually feed them. Nursing mothers actually feed them. And that's the
I've seen
cover
that.
of my book too, right? That's the
I've
cover of
seen
my
that.
book, where a woman is feeding the black buck, and you're like, wow, how does this happen? So that takes you to the root of what are they thinking, what is their mindset, where are they coming from, and you realize that, okay, this is a code of conduct which their guru laid out about 500 years ago, that how exactly life has to be lived in the desert by coexistence. And they are just doing that.
Right.
And the incidents of how lives have been lost saving trees and saving animals. So the
Right.
history of the community is very important to know.
And you have totally engrossed yourself within the community, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Almost for 2 years, yeah. Almost two
Wow.
years. I lived there, I traveled there, I met different sections of society. Like I said, initially it started from the court case, and from there on, I moved on to the philosophy part, and I totally loved it. I
And,
totally loved it.
and is the Bishnoi community, they're aware of your book? Is there a Hindi version for them to read?
Yes, incidentally, yes. The Hindi version is coming out very soon. And yeah, I've received a lot of support from the
I was
community.
going to ask you, they must love you for all the support that you're giving them.
Yeah, but I have not taken any sponsorship from them. The reason being, then you can't be honest in your writings, because
Right.
no community is 100% right or 100% wrong, right? So if you have to write from, like in Hindi, we call it the Sakshi Bhav, right? If I
Right.
have to observe the community and then write it, I don't have to take sponsorships from anybody. I don't have to be aligned with anybody.
Right.
So, research has to be independent.
Right.
So that's what I've done. That's what I've tried to do. That I've tried not to sway in either directions, and report something which I thought was honest to do.
So, as an attorney, my question for you is, as Anu and as an attorney, and I'll answer it, my viewpoint also on this. What are your views on the death penalty?
Overall death penalty, like as
In
removed from this case.
general, yeah, because I'm anti-death penalty. I'm pro due process and justice. I think if a person has committed a crime, they should be held accountable and they should serve their time, and they should get their due process. They should have a prosecutor, they should have a defense attorney. At least that's what I've learned in the legal system in America. And I grew up in America. I studied in America, and I had a minor in legal studies. So I'm not a lawyer like you. My background is psychology, but with the advent of DNA, I saw so many documentaries of so many people that had not committed crimes that changed my mind against the death penalty. And I also think that if a person has committed a crime, by killing them, then okay, and my father's father, my grandfather was Hindu, and my grandmother was Muslim. So my grandfather was Hindu Jain, so he didn't eat. They were vegetarians, vegans actually. And if you think about it, I mean, people eat hamburgers in America. Should they be shot? People eat, they eat chicken. They eat, should all of them be on the death penalty? So my question is that what is your belief, your core belief in terms of the right justice that should be given to the Bishnoi tribe? Because I spoke up on the behalf of when there were shootings at the Galaxy Apartments, and I spoke up and I said that this man deserves to get due process, and the justice system needs to get involved. Because why has this taken almost 30 years now?
See, when you talk of death penalty, that is a legal term, right? When you talk of somebody taking up a gun in the hand and shooting somebody else, that's a crime, right?
Yes.
So we need to separate the two out.
Yeah, that's murder, and that's law. That's illegal.
That's law. So
Right.
when we talk of death penalty, when we talk of any kind of punishment, right, that is delivered by the law, it serves two purposes. It is, of course, trying to change the behavior in the person by giving them time off and trying to tell them that, see, this should not have happened and all that. And second, it is supposed to serve deterrence so that the others don't commit the crime, that, see, this is what is going to happen to you if you commit this kind of a crime. So the bigger aspect of punishment from the legal process of law is deterrence so that the others don't commit it. Now, how do we make deterrence happen? Whether it is death penalty or whether it is very severe punishment. I'll take the example of Singapore here. Singapore has drug laws where if drug is found on a person, any kind of drug is found on a person, there is clear death penalty. Singapore has rape laws, which is when a person is convicted of a crime, they serve kodas, they serve the
Yes.
yeah, they serve whips.
Yes.
And that is such a process, in the sense that if a person is convicted of two consecutive of two crimes, one is maybe violation of a woman in some way, and the second is maybe another crime, two separate sets of whips are delivered, in the sense that the person is whiplashed. They wait for the wound to heal. Imagine the person is in jail, they wait for the wound to heal, and then bring him out for the second punishment. So imagine the mindset that the person is going through, that this wound is going to heal and I'm going to get more whiplashes, more wounds for this particular crime. And in that sense, that the punishment has served such a deterrence that people are so free there that there is no, mothers have no fear that my child is going to school and they might fall into a drug trap, or there might be a mass shooting, or there might be, I personally say this, that I lost the habit of walking and seeing over my shoulder. You know how we do that in India, especially if you've grown up in India. On the road, you're constantly looking at the back of your shoulder, who's coming, because
I do it here in America as a woman. I do it here as well.
Of course, America is not a safe state, right?
Right.
So your mothers, your aunts, masi's, chachis teach you that, learn to be safe. I lost that habit, years and years of that habit. I lost just staying in Singapore for 3 years. That's how safe it is. So the purpose of deterrence cannot be undermined. That's my opinion.
But those are your statistics from Singapore or Saudi Arabia. That's very safe. Or let's say Qatar, UAE. Let's say that's very safe. But in India, remember, we have the Nirbhaya case. We have the rape cases in Delhi again and again. There has been no deterrence as far as rape crimes are concerned. In fact, I watched India's Daughter, the documentary, and one of the rapists said, अब नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जो है उसको छोड़ेंगे नहीं, जो भी कोई रेप करेगा अब लड़की को मार डालेगा. And I was
Nah, darling.
disgusted. I was disgusted with what
See,
that man said. And that poor
see,
girl
India
suffered
is
so much.
India. I think in India, the need of the hour is speedy justice, not change of laws, not necessarily change of just the speedy justice. What happens in Singapore is quick justice. So deterrence happens only when you see it. If it
Right.
takes years and years and years for a case to come to fruition, then the aspect of deterrence goes away to a very large extent.
So what is your ultimate hope with this Bishnoi case? What is your, since you're so engrossed in the family and the tribe, and what is actually, I want to ask your opinion about the shootings at the Galaxy apartment. What is your viewpoint on that?
Oh, I absolutely don't condone any violence. Absolutely not.
So we're on the same page. I don't condone
Yeah,
any violence.
I don't condone any kind of violence at all. And regarding the case, it is not for me to decide. The matter is still sub judice. So, and that's the view I've taken.
Where is, so
Because
for our
in,
viewers, what is going on at this very moment with the case?
so the case, to understand for people, there are three separate FIRs that were done. There were 5 animals that were involved, that were found killed. There are the
By the
three.
same perpetrator, it wasn't just one black buck, it was 5.
It was 5 animals, right? So one is called
That
the
has been
Bhavard.
proven.
Yeah, the one is the Bhavard Chinkara case. That was the first FIR.
Okay.
Done on the night of 26 September, right?
Okay.
From there on, there was the Ghoda Farm Chinkara case on 28 September.
Okay.
And then on the intervening night of 2nd October, there was the third case, which is called the Black Buck Kankani case. So in all, 2 black bucks and 3 chinkaras,
Okay.
5 total animals were allegedly killed, right?
Right.
Now, the main accused in all the 3 cases was Salman Khan, and the co-accused kept changing, right? Now, since all these cases were running in parallel, the court came and said that let's combine all these cases, and investigations and proof collection happened for all the cases together. But the 3 FIRs are the base of what became to be known as the infamous black buck poaching case. Now, in one of the FIRs, the acquittal has been complete. It is not running through. In the other 2 cases, they are still running. The matter is still sub judice. So how long will it take and where will it go? Well, we do not know that, and nobody knows that. It's how the courts will process it.
In your opinion, with the power and the fame and the wealth, not just this individual, but other people in other factors of life and other facets of life, and who commit crime, be it a doctor, or who accidentally kills a patient while he's operating, or in any field, if the person has the power and the power to hire the best attorney and the power to pay off people, which in India, Pakistan, and I've grown up in both the countries, I'm very familiar with chai pani, and I'm very familiar with everything, bribery. It's our foundation of our nations, unfortunately, is built on guilt, shame, and bribery. These 3 things. And unfortunately, my question to you is that how likely is it that there will never ever be justice attained for what was done? And not just in this case, but in many cases, there are a lot of people that do bad things, and there are a lot of good people that do bad things. There are a lot of bad people that do good things. So, there's a lot of gray. There's no black and white. But what is your opinion? How optimistic are you? Let's use that word, that there will be justice attained.
What is justice after 28 years? Anyway, that needs to be defined too. See, it would be a contempt if we say that, I'm getting in the way of the courts if I give a judgment here. But just to give you an idea of the kind of investigation that the courts have come down very heavily on, is that the first black buck that went through the process of investigation, that how was it killed, the first veterinary doctor gave a report that the black buck died of overeating. Like, which animal dies of overeating?
Oh God.
especially a black buck, which is the second fastest animal in the world, right? When
Right.
the court
Sounds ridiculous.
essentially fired the veterinarian doctor, they got a new doctor on panel who said that yes, the carcass of the black buck had a bullet, and yes, the black buck died of the bullet, but the bullet does not match with the gun which was recovered from the hotel rooms.
Right.
So like I said right in the beginning, that the establishment of guilt beyond reasonable doubt is quite difficult to prove with this investigation facts that have been brought out.
Okay. So, personal question: are you a vegan?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I follow an Ayurveda diet completely. So yes, I'm a vegetarian, but no, I'm not a vegan.
So, what does that diet consist of? Because I'm obsessed with dal chawal and achar. That's my favorite go-to.
Me too. Mine too.
That's my
I love
favorite
dal chawal.
go-to. That's my okay. So
I love dal chawal.
let's pivot again and let's talk about this. What is this Lawrence Bishnoi character? Who is he and what is he about? And he's a lawyer? Is that even true? And he's behind bars, correct?
Correct. Correct.
So
So
tell me a little about this guy.
I have devoted literally just one paragraph or like one page in my book to um, uh,
He's a
Lawrence
young guy.
Bishnoi.
He's in his 30s.
Yes.
Okay.
So, see, you always have people who rise up in various capacities in every community. Now, the thing is that I always tell people when my book came out, people are like, oh, this is about Lawrence Bishnoi. I was like, not really. I mean, absolutely not. Like, there was a very famous Shah Rukh Khan movie, right, which said, my name is Khan and I'm not a terrorist.
Right.
Similarly, you cannot take up one surname, one person, and identify the whole community with it. That's unfair, right? That's unfair to any community in the world.
Well, it's illogical. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's absolutely not fair. And the fact that somebody has risen up like this, and he's in jail, committed certain crimes. I mean, it is a personal thing, right? I mean, the community itself, when I asked them about who really, what kind of an opinion does the community have about them, the answer was actually very, very divided. A lot of people absolutely do not condone his methods. And there are a few youngsters who rally behind him, saying that, yes, this is what the way of justice should be, because justice is delayed for a long time. So this is what it should happen. But no, the community is quite divided on the matter of Lawrence Bishnoi. That is what I found. That said, I have tried to keep away from both personalities in the book. But I know the spotlight keeps coming there. Out of the 300 pages in my book, I've basically devoted 30 odd pages onto this incident and the balance on the philosophy of what is driving this community and what can we as modern society learn from them.
Have you ever met Lawrence?
No, he's in jail. Who can meet him?
Okay, but they have visitors and inmates are allowed to see visitors, and at least in America, that's how it works. So tell me the division. Tell me the both the sides. What are people saying about this young man, Lawrence?
Yeah. So
and why is he in jail, by the way? What crime did he commit? Why is he in jail?
There are multiple crimes. I think there are car thefts and there are killings and also. So that's a totally separate matter.
So he's a local thug. He's basically a local thug.
That's a totally separate matter, and my thesis is not on his crimes at all.
Okay.
The idea being that so I was in Sanchor, it's an area in Western Rajasthan, and then I later came to Bikaner. There were protests happening for not putting up solar panels. The community is standing up against solar panels being put because it destroys the ecology. Now that's a very long thing of why that's happening. Now these protests have been going on for almost 3 years.
Right.
And so I was there at one of the protests and I met a lot of youngsters there, very environmentally conscious youngsters there. And I asked them, and they raised slogans in favor of Lawrence Bishnoi, which is also documented in my book, right? And I asked them that, do you favor this person? And the youngsters were, a few of them were like, yes, we do. And we think that this is the way to go about delivering justice. But then the seniors in the community, even the ones who are not really adolescents, but even slightly older people, absolutely said that no, we are a non-violent community and we do not really condone these methods at all, right? Uh, we would like to seek justice from the judicial system of India, and we would like to have justice being delivered as soon as possible. Uh, that said, again, the community has a further divide that I asked them that, what if there's an apology that happens? As a lawyer, I know an apology in such a case actually does not mean anything because the law will take its own course, right? But then, is the community willing to forgive them or not? The community is also divided. A lot of people want the due process of law to happen, and some people are like, okay, if Salman Khan ji comes and apologizes to us, then we will forgive him. But then the question is, they are not to forgive. Now the matter is in the court's hands, so it does not really make a difference. Coming back to Lawrence and to your question, no, the community is very, very divided, and only a very small section of society supports it.
And the small section is younger or they're older?
Younger,
Younger.
younger.
The younger section. Okay. And does he have any siblings? How is he,
I
how
don't know.
are these shootings being ordered and with him
I
being in
wouldn't know.
prison?
I wouldn't know that.
We don't
I
know.
wouldn't know that. I never investigated that. No. So
Okay.
that's pure crime investigation. That's matter of a totally different book and a totally different investigation.
So, on the Sacred Black Buck, where convicted poachers are sentenced to 5 to 7 years, and the person responsible was convicted for 5 years in jail, why do you think he got away with it all? It's you'll probably reiterate that there were no forensics and the gypsy and all of that. That's because
Yeah,
of
we've already covered most of that. Yeah,
okay, we've covered that.
covered.
All right, all of that. Okay, so what does this tell you about India's justice system? Not just the black buck, but the rape incidents that I keep reading about, and I keep seeing Instagram reels about the horrific things happening to young children, girls, and boys, even boys, because I have a charity that rescues victims of human trafficking, children even brought from India and sold in Miami, and also victims of domestic violence, women brought in through marriages and then abused by the husbands, or vice versa. So I've seen a lot of that, human trafficking, human sex trafficking of children. But I want to understand, like, what can we do rapidly in order to improve India's justice system with all the everything is so anti in our favor in order to do good and to get justice, to actually obtain justice. What can we do to bypass all of that stuff and actually obtain justice, not just for this case, but for other cases in general?
No, this is not a rape case. Rape cases are separate. Sexual crimes are separate, right?
Right. I mean, in general.
In general, I think everything's fine with the laws. I don't see any change happening in the laws. Yes, the speedy delivery of justice, that is something which can change. But
Okay.
that said, looking at what's happening to Epstein files, the world is looking at
Oh
the most
God.
developed country in the world to see what they do, what kind of justice they are giving their women and their children, and we are aghast that this is the state of justice in America. When
They're
I
not
look
even
at the
held
Epstein
accountable yet.
files,
They're not
correct?
even held accountable.
With all those videos that have come out, videos that we shudder to see, the photographs that we shudder to see. I
Right.
mean, if Epstein files goes unpunished, I don't think the world has any hope. Where are
That's
we
what I
going?
say every day, that if Epstein files, if we're not getting the names from Ghislaine Maxwell, who's living in a resort of a prison and has a dog for her there, which is baffling to me. I mean, if she's not even giving us the names, what are we waiting for? Is this going to be another murder suicide again with Ghislaine Maxwell? Is that what we're anticipating? Because that's what it looks like it's going to happen. Because what's taking so long for accountability? And you're right, I agree with you 200%. If in America, the land of opportunity, the land of justice, if we can't attain what happened on that island, I mean, eating babies? Are you kidding me? It's so disgusting. I cannot even, I can't even,
Disgusting.
I can't process that. So, but anyways, okay. So, what is your future plan with the Bishnoi tribe? Like, what do you plan on? You're involved with them, you care about them, you've gotten close to them, you've developed a relationship with them, you've written a book about them. What are your future plans with their tribe and within their families and within the division, the adults who are using more rationality, I think, in my opinion, what are your plans with them going forward?
When it comes to future plans, see, the black buck poaching incident is one aspect, right?
Right.
My future endeavor is to take this into a documentary or a docudrama, not so much for the case, but more about what the world can learn from an environmental perspective. I mean, we've not really discussed that what kind of sacrifices this community has done. It can be a riveting, absolutely moving docudrama that I would like to make, and I am seeking funds for that, because the world is getting obsessed when it comes to Bishnois. Either it is the poaching incident, where Salman Khan is allegedly involved, or it is the Lawrence Bishnoi where the person is in jail. But the history and the philosophy of the community is getting sidelined. So I would like to do a documentary. I would like to create something which actually puts the focus back on what the community stands for, which is pretty much the environmental principles. Their guru gave them 29 environmental principles on which that community stands for, and we as a modern society can learn so much from them.
Right.
So,
Because
so those are my future plans. Yeah.
so have you heard of this gentleman, and I forget his last name, Amit, that wants to actually produce a film about the black buck? Did you hear about that? I read that in the news yesterday.
I just read that in the news yesterday, but I haven't seen the details of the case. Like what exactly it is, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
he got a defamation. He got a letter for cease and desist because the Mr. Khan, he said that it's defamation, although it's public knowledge. So I don't see how it can be defamation. But this gentleman is adamant that he's going to go ahead and produce the film. Um, but having said that, I like your idea a lot more because I like the fact that you want to show the Bishnoi tribe the initiation, its history. It's more of a historical and a positive, optimistic note to it, as opposed to just about poaching and negativity and killings and all of that. You're giving a historical viewpoint if you do a documentary on this. I think that's beautiful.
There is some phenomenal stuff that they've done. So, uh, um, in many years ago, about 200 years ago, this community, 363 men, women, and children gave up their lives protecting trees.
Wow.
In no community in the world, nowhere in the world have so many people given up their lives defending trees. They literally hugged the trees when people came to chop the trees. They literally hugged the trees, and the tree fellows chopped the head of the woman. She was called Amrita Devi Bishnoi. Now she's addressed as Ma Amrita Devi Bishnoi,
Oh
a
my God.
woman-centric leader, an eco-feminist who literally stood up and said, I will not let green trees being cut, because that is what our guru told us, that Rukh Leela na ghave, that don't cut green trees. She stood up and her head was chopped off. Three of her daughters came to protect the mom. Their heads were chopped off. The
Oh my
father's head. Slowly and steadily, 363 people were massacred till the time the tree felling was stopped. This is a real story. Why don't we know about this about the Bishnois? Why don't
I've
we know
never
this?
heard of this. Oh my God.
Yes. We
This
don't know
happened
this.
when exactly did this take
17,
place?
1730s, and this is
Oh
this
my
is
God.
documented history. This
So
is
they've been
documented
around
history.
for that long?
This
Wow.
is documented history, and I take the pleasure of documenting all the names of these martyrs in my book. And every conversation that I've been doing about this book, I dedicate a conversation to a name. So I'll take this name here, that I dedicate this conversation with you to the 54th martyr, Shri Keshoji, son of Shri Hardas ji from village Hoon. which is close by to the Kejrili village where this massacre happened. I'm trying to have 363 such conversations, one dedicated to each person who died saving a tree. Like who does that?
An unbelievable human being
Unbelievable.
that should be known and recognized. I mean, and
And
the women that you told me about, and the girls went to protect their mother, and they all lost. I mean, this is bizarre, and this is
this is
1700s.
this is exactly what we should be. Let me see if I can bring up a picture from here. This is exactly what we should be talking about. Talk about things that the society can learn from. When a tree is cut in our neighborhood, do we even make the effort to go and prevent it, to save it? No, the government is given an okay, let the tree be cut. Thousands of trees are cut in cities of Delhi and in large cities to make way for road projects. And then we say that, oh, the environment is heating up, and there is more heat that is generated. Where are the cooling trees? So we have to learn from ancient societies that why they do what they do.
Well, I
And
think
that is my purpose.
Richard Gere and Leonardo DiCaprio should receive your book, and I will personally make my biggest effort and contact their publicists and send them your books.
Really,
Because
thank you so much.
because
Thank you so much.
Richard Gere is very into Buddhism. He's always in Nepal. As you know, Leonardo DiCaprio is all about environment. And, we are killing our earth. We are literally killing our earth. And
Right.
to hear what you just told me from the 1700s, it's mind-boggling. I had no idea. It's unreal. And I salute you for all the work that you're doing. And I have
And
1,000 times more respect for you than I already did after speaking with you.
we,
And your book, I mean, Bishnoi and the Black Buck, I'm gonna start posting it everywhere. I'm
so
gonna
sweet.
start promoting it, and I'm gonna send it to Leo, and I'm gonna send it to Richard Gere, and I'm gonna do my best. And it's amazing what you're doing because people don't care. People really don't care. That's our biggest problem in our life, that people don't listen and they don't care. And especially with the advent of social media, I know everyone is lost in their own worlds, and everyone is making everything seem so right and nice. And unfortunately, it's a farce because a lot of it is not really what is actually happening inside their bedrooms and or their homes. But of course, no one's going to post a picture of someone crying or someone depressed or anything. So social media is all about being happy and showing that the world is great. But unfortunately, it's not. And social media has also a division where it does take a stand. And I use it for my nonprofit to raise awareness about the prevalence of human trafficking and how common it has become with children, especially. So,
Very sad. Yeah.
having said that, I now it's your turn. If you have any questions for me, feel free. If you don't, that's fine also. But if you
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the offer to take this book to a level where, yes, somebody can
oh, are
finance
you
it and
kidding
we can
me? I'm
make a
totally mailing
docudrama out
that
of
out.
it. Yeah, so that'll be a huge help. Thank you so much for offering that. And one thing that I think I did not mention early on, and maybe we did not have that conversation,
Sure,
is
sure.
who is a Bishnoi?
Tell
We're
me,
talking about Bishnois, yeah, but who is a Bishnoi? So
tell me.
how did all this start, right? This started at a time about 550 years ago when Rajasthan was seeing a big famine. And people didn't have stuff to eat, people were migrating, and that's when Guru Jambhoji, the Bishnoi Guru Jambhoji, came up and said that, see, if you want to survive, you have to live with the environment and not fight the environment. And that's when he gave 29 rules. And a lot of people say that Bishnois come from there. Bish as in 20 and 9, Noi as in 9, Bishnoi. And
Uh,
these 29 rules are everything about the environment. Surprise, surprise. It is about not cutting trees. It is about not harming animals. It is about Bani and Pani ko chhan ke piche, which is, when you take water, sieve it so that no insects are killed there. And even your speech should be purified. They're about not castrating bulls because cows are of more importance. You get milk, bulls are castrated, so don't castrate the bulls. It is all of that environment stuff. He even said don't wear blue clothes because at that time, blue was coming from indigo, which took a lot of water and polluted the environment while coloring clothes blue. So he said don't wear blue clothes.
Wow.
Don't do tobacco, don't do nasha. But now Rajasthan and even the Bishnoi community is steeped in nasha, is steeped in narcotics. Rajasthan is a big hub of narcotics trade that is happening. So all of Rajasthan, including the Bishnoi community, is really fighting nasha, even though it is part of the 29 rules. Now, these 29 rules have a lot to teach what we can do with UN, what we can do with environmental agencies of the world, and how it can be taken up. They can actually teach the world. And literally, who becomes a Bishnoi? Anyone who takes these 29 rules by heart, hriday, they say, hriday se dharan kiya agar aapne ye 29 rules, you're a Bishnoi. And you're a Bishnoi. So that is what it is. Literally, that is what it is.
So I can literally come to Rajasthan and go meet with a member of the Bishnoi tribe, and I can say I would like to learn about your 29 tenets of your what you believe in, and I would like to be a part of it. Is that a possibility? Are they open?
So they say 29 नियम की आंकड़ी हृदय धार्यो जो जाम्भो जी कृपा करे नाम बिश्नोई होए, which is if you take the 29 rules, adopt them by heart, and Jambho ji kripa kare, you become a Bishnoi. That is how easy it was at that time, right? Now, of course, communities become a lot more staunch as time goes by. Communities become a lot more rigid as time goes by. So that is what happens. But literally at the heart of the philosophy, it's so simple.
It sounds, yeah, it sounds, and I'm assuming these 29 rules are in your book.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm totally promoting it. I'm sending it to as many people as I can. And you have opened my eyes. I had no idea there was such a crucial environmental aspect attached to the tribe and to their tenets and to their rules. I had no idea. And this has been an eye opener, and it's been unbelievable. I feel like I just had a college course. It's been unbelievable. It's been really.
Faith gives you courage to stand up. I mean, otherwise, why would somebody appear in court for 65 times just defending a belief that they believe in? Faith is a very powerful thing. Faith can move mountains. That's my belief.
Kudos to you. And again, I salute you for everything that you've done for this tribe, and more power to you. You're in my prayers, and I hope that they get justice. I hope they get what they have been seeking. I hope all their prayers and wishes and their dreams come true. And I respect their tribe. I respect their tenets, and I can't wait to read your book and post it all over my social media. And thank you, Anu. You're an amazing human being. Thank you for being such a good person, because good people are very rare to find in today's world. And it's an honor to meet a good person, and a person with such a big heart and such a kind heart. And for being
sweet. Thank you so much. I don't think I deserve all that, but thank you so much.
Thank you so much. No, it's true. It's all true. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. And thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Namaskar. Bye-bye.